Welcome to the Graffiti Jungle. In another episode of Tangential Thoughts Chat Show, I'm your chief, Jahara. This is season 2, episode 65. So in this episode, we want to start a YouTube Nonstop poetry challenge. So I looked up types of poems, and I feel like there were 3 that would be fun to try. And since this is the Graffiti Jungle, all the poems are about graffiti. And so I'm going to explain what the poem is, and then I'm going to read you an example of what I wrote, and then in the comments, I would like for you to leave an example of something you came up with. So the first poem is called an acrostic poem. And so you can pick a word, spell it vertically, and then each sentence just has to start with the letter of that word. For example, going to paint on walls, trains, and billboards. Resisting the law because they say it's vandalism. Art has no laws to be confined in a prison. Freedom to express on the world's largest canvas, for sometimes my art is words formed in stanzas, including, but not limited to, elongated pictures and big bubbly letters. There's no limit to my art. It all flows from the heart. Now, the next point that we're going to try is called a haiku. Now, the haiku has a Japanese heritage and is generally about nature. But in general, it goes based off the syllables. There are 3 lines. The first line has 5 syllables. The second line has 7 syllables. And the last line has 5 syllables. So, for example, Graffiti Jungle, Cigar, Fashion, Studio. Don't forget the art. Now, the last type of poem that we're going to try for today is called a limerick. Now, the limerick has a specific rhyme scheme in the sense that it goes A, B, B, A. The first 2 and the last line rhyme, and the 3rd and 4th line rhyme. Generally, they try to be funny. It's a little humorous. So, for example, here's mine. There once was a man named Chief Lee who lived in a place called Graffiti. All he did was gripe and smoke a cigar pipe. but he called his art graffiti. So we want to start a challenge. And every day, any day, something comes to you. If you just feel like being creative, you just feel like writing, we want to start a non-stop YouTube poetry challenge. So if something comes to mind, or if you got a little bit of time, then feel free to express. And it's okay if it doesn't come out right. It can be a little mess. See, if I say messy, I'm not talking about soccer. But there's some people, you gotta look at her and block her. Those are called stalkers. If I say stalker, I'm not talking about that good old corn cob, that corn that grows on the stalk. You know, sometimes you can look at a bird, might call that a hawk. You know what they say about birds? They flock together under any weather. If I say weather, I'm not talking about Floyd Mayweather. I just want you to do some poetry. So comment something poetic.